I've known Earl for 9 years, for as long as I've been at Blue Moon, and I've worked with him on a few jobs as an MC and a facilitator and a comedian.
So I first started working with Alistair as an actor, and that's, the first kind of guise that I knew Alistair in. And then he was doing script writing for us, and from script writing he was doing work as a comedian, and then he was also doing work as an MC. And in the last few years he's been doing very much work that reflects our strategic work, where he's been doing a lot of facilitation work for us. So that's what I appreciate about El, is that he's multifaceted, multi-talented.
Well, I've worked with El pretty much from the beginning, pretty close to the beginning of his comedy career. Worked with him at various startup comedy scenes in Joburg.
At Prodgers, I think for me, he was there since day one. He's the one guy that I met when I first went to a comedy club in Four Ways, and he's been a mentor and a friend and a brother. He's a comedy genius.
Well, I met Al actually backstage at a comedy night at Cool Runnings in the Underground. Al was the host that evening, and I had a horrible, horrible night. I won't say how bad it was, but if people were throwing vegetables at me, I could have left with a fruit and veg grocer at the end of that day. And Al genuinely comforted me. He told me basically about one of the biggest ins and outs of comedy is that no night is going to be the same as another night, and the most important thing you can do is learn from the bad ones and not try to remember too much from the good ones. And since then, it's been beautiful.
El is a creative. He's always got a good suggestion. He can take the corners, because we could throw in curveballs, and El is able to take a corner very quickly.
Alistair is an absolute win to work with as an MC for corporate events. It's a win for client strategy. It's a win for creativity. It's a win for comedy. And somehow Alistair has the magic of being able to tie all the client's messaging into current affairs and into really what's funny, so that he breaks the ice with the audience immediately.
Mostly because he knows quite a lot about pretty much everything. So besides the fact that he's funny and entertaining, and yes, that's a benefit when we put him onto conferences as an MC, as a facilitator and so on. He's an excellent writer. He's got his drama training. So even when he's writing from the perspective of his insight into whoever the client is, but also as an actor himself, he can write to get the best performance out of the people that we end up casting in those productions.
Because he's such a professional and a real gentleman. He is such a joy to have on a job. He gets the brief, and he's easy to work with, he's easy to direct, he takes direction really well, he interprets the job really well, he puts his own personality to it, so it's got his own spin that just works really beautifully. He reads the audience marvelously. And whenever I've worked with him, or for the great majority that I've worked with him, we've traveled. And we would be catching flights at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and he's there with a smile.
Al is fantastic. He's very professional. He's amazing. And he's not a diva on the roadshow at all. I mean, you would think he was almost part of the crew, because he always wants to help. He's just not a diva at all. And he's just amazing. Clients love him. I love working with him. And yes, he's fantastic. He does all his writing. What we do as Blue Moon is just give him a brief and the objectives. And most of the time he'll come up with his own piece of work, in a way. We just provide him the content and he does the rest.
I think as a corporate comic, I think striking the balance with the audiences that we have in a corporate environment, Al is very, very good at reading his audience. He's great at doing the research up front. That's why he loves to meet with the client first. He doesn't just like to rock up and do his routine.
In a club, space is very unique because Al is one of the few comedians that can turn a dead crowd into a lively crowd. You know, he has that talent, you know.
Well, I'll be honest with you about that thing. I think in the club, in the corporate space, the beautiful thing about Al is that he's so relatable. He's just like a regular guy who's sharing his life in an incredibly humorous way. And one of the things I love most about Al is his ability to take even a normal situation and to find an incredible amount of humor inside of it.
What I really like about Al is he is flexible and he is involved from the beginning. When we do a brainstorm, he involves himself. He is part of the brainstorm. He's part of the briefing from the client side, and we work together from the beginning to the end of the project. And he comes up with great ideas.
But him and I started working together in 2011. And I worked with him as a producer. He was my facilitator, stage / MC on road shows, specifically VW.
Well, first of all, he reads an audience really well. He can work corporates really completely and utterly to script and to brief. He understands his corporate market. He certainly understands the club environment. Well, he's a great MC. I mean, he's a good act, but he's a great MC. So he's able to command the room. He gets the room organised. His control of the space is very, very good. And he knows how to deal with difficult customers. He's worked with pretty much all the guys that work on the stage over a number of years. So he knows what they do. He understands the nature of the act. And he knows how to link them and relate them to the audience that is there that night. Plus, of course, he got involved in doing improv with us. So he used to run improv workshops as well. So he's got, all his drama training is.
I love working with him from that perspective because he's not a hired hand or a hired gun. He gets in, he gets involved, he understands what that brief is, and he brings so much more and so much extra to it.